Guys, I know I've been MIA, but look at this. 1,800 likes, okay? Out of the 1,800, 1,400 of them are laughing at this. These two astronauts that are apparently stuck in space. That means 1,400 out of 1,800, which means 77% are flat earthers. And know the truth. Lights, camera, action. The narrative is over, NASA. Literally over.
You preach open-mindedness and then we show you a photo and you flirts are like, nuh-uh. You mean like this photo of Earth from space? Nuh-uh. They copied and pasted the clouds. Or this photo we ran through the CGI image detector. It's fake. Or this photo of Jupiter's aurora, which they used the same photo that they posted 2 years ago. And to top it all off, we got this photo where they leave the Photoshop hand tool right there on the official image for all of us to see. When we say nuh-uh, it's warranted. So let me get this straight. You're making fun of us for not agreeing with you when you're wrong. That sounds a little crazy. It's kind of like a dictatorship out here. So next time that we say nuh-uh, maybe you should look into what you're trying to present and the claims you're trying to make. You're killing my bird. Can you not deal with these logical fallacies? What do you think? Hi. Hi. Are you sweet? Let's debunk the 1972 blue marble. Neil deGrasse Tyson says,
do you realize if you took Earth with all of its mountains, valleys, and hills and shrunk it down to the size of a cue ball, it would be smoother than any cue ball ever machined?
And look at this topography. This mountain alone would be about 100 miles tall. And that's just the beginning. So this is the 1972 blue marble, the only image that NASA has of this trip on their website. And here's why. This is another photo supposedly taken on the way to the moon. Now notice this big fat Terminator line here. This is the day that they set off for the moon. And notice in our solar system, the sun and the moon are pretty well aligned. If you know anything about orbital trajectory, this is how they do it. They'll leave Earth, go around, and then set their trajectory for the moon. So wherever the sun is, they'll be heading that same direction. They're not going to change their trajectory until they get to the moon. So if they leave Earth and they're heading toward the sun the entire 3-day trip, then every time they look back at Earth, they're going to see the same light on that face of the Earth as the Earth would turn in the sunlight. So they would never experience a Terminator line in that 3-day trip toward the sun, toward the source of light, looking back behind you. The only way you would see this is if when you got to the moon, you rode on the moon for like 4 days until it got around to the position where you would see a Terminator line on Earth. NASA took this off of their website. This is not on nasa.gov anymore. It's in the archives. You have to dig to find this one because they released all the photos and then were like, whoops, we didn't think about orbital mechanics here.
We're never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon.
Liars. All liars.
Without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see. I don't remember seeing any.
You can see the stars.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
I don't remember seeing any.
NASA says that we can't leave low Earth orbits.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go.
The kinds of technologies that we're testing out on space station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
And this is really the beginning, I think, of human beings leaving low Earth orbit.
One thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
Cannot leave.
One thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system.
Closed.
We
cannot leave the Earth.
Cannot leave.
NASA tells us that they lost the 1960s technology that took us to the moon.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology.
Destroyed it?
And it's a painful process to build it back again.
The ultimate destination is Mars. See, if you gave me all the money in the federal budget today, I could not get a human to Mars.
I think that what you're doing is taking a shot in the dark. You have no way of knowing if any commercial entity will ever be able to put a man in orbit, no matter how much money you throw at them. What you're doing is you're taking NASA's manned space program and making it a faith-based initiative. I yield the rest of my time.
NASA also says that they lost the telemetry data for the moon missions.
Boom, lost it.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
I just debunked gravity. Gravity is too weak to keep me on the ground. A few helium balloons and voila, I'm flying. Gravity is just weight. Once you eliminate the weight, you become lighter than air.
Can you see it now? Green jacket and a new perfume.
I've explained this before, but I can do it again. The Earth is like the ground, like the floor of a room. You're standing on the ground. The ground is flat. All the lights in the sky are put there for signs and wonders. The sun is a light, the moon is a light, and they travel in a circle above the Earth, which is flat. There are two other things very similar to the moon that don't produce light. These also travel in a circle. Very predictably, once in a while, one of these things goes in front of the moon or in front of the sun. That's what causes eclipses. It's not the shadow of Earth. That's something they tell people who are easily deceived. Almost everyone who believes that we live on a ball Earth was told that as a child and has never questioned it. If they did, they would realize it's not logically possible. No intelligent person could stick to that belief.
I don't think anyone could convince me Earth is a ball after this view.
Not only if the sun is 93 million miles away, these clouds would be lit up, but also these clouds would be lit up, and they're not. So you guys want to tell me why those are lit up, but those aren't? I could tell you why. It's because the sun is local. Have a great day.
We're told that that light in the sky behind me is 93 million miles away in the vacuum of space, and the Earth is spinning around it. In fact, the Earth is travelling at 67,000 miles per hour, around that. Obviously, you can't feel any spin or detect any motion, and there's no scientific evidence that we are in fact going around the sun. In fact, the Michelson-Morley experiment proved that it's in fact the heavens that are rotating and not the Earth. And as scripture says, the Earth stays stationary. In fact, you can't find evidence of anyone claiming the Earth was spinning until very recently, because all our ancestors believed that the Earth was stationary and were living under some sort of dome or firmament-like structure, and the celestial bodies were placed within that. And we all remember the sun from when we were younger, especially if you were born in the 80s, for example. You'll remember the sun being yellow, orange, pink at sunrise and sunset, but it was never so bright. It was never so white. It's almost like they've changed the bulb up there. Well, this is just for entertainment. Don't take anything I say as gospel, but the gospel does actually say that the Earth is flat and stationary and we're not spinning or moving. But obviously the Bible's just a fairy tale. We can't pay too much attention to what that book's saying, can we?
airplanes. The Earth is stationary, according to the Air Force, and according to all the flight plans in today's aviation. We've got a plane. Have this. Plane takes off. You notice when you take off in a plane, you feel like you're leaning back. You're going up until you level out.
Now that our wings are level, we can go ahead and get rid of our flaps. We have good altitude and airspeed. Now that our wings are level, we can go ahead and get rid of our flaps. We have good altitude and airspeed.
You're always level. In an airplane, you're always level. Your plane never follows the curvature of the Earth. Why is that? Because there is no curvature. So a plane would have to follow the curvature. If they didn't follow the curvature, they would fly directly out into space.
If the Earth were truly a sphere 25,000 miles in circumference, airplane pilots would have to constantly correct their altitudes downwards so as to not fly straight off into outer space. A pilot wishing to simply maintain their altitude at a typical cruising speed of 500 miles per hour would have to constantly dip their nose downwards and descend 2,777 feet, over half a mile, every minute.
What do you never feel on a plane? You never feel like you're dipping down at all. Even when you're landing, the plane comes in like this. It never nosedives. The only time the nose is up is when it's taking off or trying to gain altitude. But coming down, it stays level. Where is all of this possible? Right here. Take off, level, 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 level. It does not dip down. This round world model is a big lie that started by the Jesuit order. They want to make you feel this small, like you're nothing. That's why they say the universe is forever expanding. This, going 1,014 miles an hour, going around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, moving the galaxy, going flying through, expanding, you're at 2 million miles an hour. But you know what you never, ever, 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 ever feel? When you stand next to your bed, when you're talking to your children outside, when you're sitting at a bar, you know what you never feel? You never feel any of the motion that they talk about. You know why? Because we're right here, stationary, flat, with the star Polaris right above us. The heliocentric model came about to pull you away from the creator and make you believe that you came from a monkey. Evolution means this. Understand, we live here, stationary.
If this was an airplane flying around the globe, it would fly along and then it would have to tilt its nose down. If you take a gyroscope onto an airplane, or even if you just sit on an airplane, you'll never ever experience it just suddenly dip like this, which is what it would need to do if you were going to fly around the world. However, if we lived on a flat plane, which we do, the airplane would fly along on a constant. That's the experience that we feel on an aircraft. Wake up, sheeple. There is a fatal flaw in the globe Earth model. Let me explain. Since the Earth's core is meant to be molten lava, okay, and on the surface of the Earth is covered in water all over. Now, according to the globe Earth model, water is affected by gravity, which means it's forced downwards. Surely in this model water would escape downward towards the core, extinguishing the core. If this isn't proof that the globe Earth model is utter nonsense, I don't know what's going to convince you. This is a circle, right? This was a helicopter, and it flew in a straight line. It would fly off into space. That only. It wouldn't work, would it? Helicopters can't fly to space. That's because we live on a flat plane. Make it make sense. Can anybody tell me what is wrong with this model? Because I can see straight away, the sun is on fire. Okay, let's look at the fire triangle. Fires need oxygen, heat, and fuel. In space, there is no oxygen. There's no atmosphere out here. How could the sun still be burning? Come on guys, wake up.
Breaking news. Russian pilots released stunning images of a flat, non-rotating Earth. We live on a topographical plain surrounded by an ice barrier which contains all of the oceans in. These images demonstrate 360 degrees of flat horizon, only possible on a flat and stationary Earth.
The shuttle exploded and all 7 crew members lost their lives. This is Judy Resnick, an engineer and pilot aboard the Challenger mission. In 2013, an eagle-eyed internet user found Judith Resnick, a law professor at Harvard Law School. Some people were a little taken aback by the identical name, age, and likeness, so they started digging. This is Michael J. Smith, also an engineer and pilot aboard the Challenger shuttle, who passed away that fateful day in 1986 at the age of 39 years old. This is Dr. Michael J. Smith, professor of engineering at the University of Wisconsin. This is Sharon Krista McAuliffe, arguably one of the most famous things about the Challenger mission. She was supposedly just a teacher that was picked at random to be one of the astronauts, which made it all the more tragic when she passed away due to the Challenger disaster in 1986. This is Sharon A. McAuliffe, also a law professor who received her degree shortly after the Challenger disaster. Dick Scobie was the commander of the mission. Here's Commander Dick Scobie next to Richard Scobie, the CEO of Cows and Trees. Here's his company's original logo. It's a cow, but it's not in a tree. It's strapped to a rocket, and gee, that jet stream kind of looks familiar. In fact, just in case I wasn't making it clear, the top picture is the Challenger ship shortly after exploding. So, you know, Astronauts Ronald McNair and Ellison Onizuka both passed away when the Challenger shuttle exploded. Miraculously, it was found out that they both had twin brothers, Carl McNair and Claude Onizuka. But ancestry searches were done for both Carl and Claude, and there was no birth records found. And the odds of 2 sets of identical twins in a crew of 7 are astronomical.
It came in the mail, and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.